Alright, you guys, as you can probably tell from the title, we're going to be hopping into my thoughts on The Black Phone, a new movie that just came out, horror movie that just came out this summer, 2022, that I'm super excited about. Is this going to be the best horror movie of the year? Let's go ahead and get into my thoughts, all the details right now. Alright, you guys, before even hopping into the video, I will let you know I really did enjoy this movie. How much I enjoyed it is the question that we're going to answer, but first let's get the gritty details so you can know about this movie as well. Black Phone is a new release. It is a horror movie released this month, so June 2022. It was slated to be released earlier, but it got pushed back a couple of times, and this one stars Ethan Hawke, Mason Thames, I hope I'm saying his name right, Mason Thames, who's like the main protagonist, young boy in the movie, and we also have Madeleine McGraw, which is his sister, the character of his sister in the movie. So these three actors did an amazing job. We'll get into it a little bit more. And we also have James Ransome and Jeremy Davies. I hope I'm saying their names right. I've seen many of these actors before. Of course, Ethan Hawke is very, very famous, and I know he has dabbled in horror before. I've never seen Sinister, though, which I know is one big one that he's in. I'll have to check it out one of these days. But yeah, so this one was one of my most anticipated horror movies of the year. I was super excited about this one. Saw the trailer early on. It didn't give too much away. We kind of got the basics of it. But yeah, if you don't want to be super spoiled, probably don't watch the trailer. But I watched this one, and this one was one of my most anticipated movies of the year in January. This one was like at the very top, or definitely on the list in my top 10. So it was a big deal for me going into this movie. I wanted to see some newness coming into this genre, and I was excited about this one because I feel like this looked a little bit unique. It's also based on a story, or I think it's like either a short story or a novella by Joe Hill called The Black Phone, so named after the title of the book. And Joe Hill is Stephen King's son, if you guys did not know. And also I read one of Joe Hill's novels last year, Nosferatu, which I absolutely loved. If you've seen me review that book, or also seen my end of the year wrap up when I did my favorite books of the year, that one was on there because that book was one of my favorites from last year. Really great little horror novel, and I wanted to read more from Joe Hill. Haven't done that yet this year, but I was excited because I already knew I liked the Arthur. So with that being said, we're going to hop into some thoughts about this one. Already, it has an 84% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and this one is just under 2 hours, hour 42 minutes, so it's really not super, super long. So far this year, I haven't seen too many movies in theaters, but I have to say this was one of the best experiences I had. So let's talk about that. In the theater, it was really cool. There was a lot of people there. Actually, my theater that I went to was pretty packed, and the experience was really nice. I went with my sisters, and even they were super duper creeped out at this. They were saying it was even too scary for them. So for me, that's like a win right there. Not to say that I want them to be scared, but like if it can give some creepiness to, you know, the people I'm with. And also in the theaters, everybody was so much, very much engaged, and even towards the end, when some things start to happen, people were cheering. It was really much a very excited atmosphere in the theater. So really great theater experience, first of all, which I think is a testament also to the movie. It was just very engaging, and it really made me like the whole story, the plot really had everybody rooting for our characters. So again, this one is directed by Scott Derrickson, which I don't know if I've seen any of his movies before. I have to go and look back. But like I said, it stars some really big names, namely Ethan Hawke, which I know is obviously a very popular actor. And of course, I've seen Ethan Hawke in other things as well. But the two child actors in this that are like the main two, there's a lot of different children in this one because we're kind of basically following children, and I'll get into that in just a second. But Mason Thames and Madeleine McGraw also did a really, really good job. Really, really excellent job. So let's get into what is the basic plot of this movie. The basic plot of this movie is we're following Finley, a young boy around 13 years old, I think 13-year-old young boy, and we're set in like the 70s, and he's growing up. He's very shy, but a clever young boy, like a very smart kind of making his way through life, also dealing with a lot of things in his home life and taking care of his younger sister. And they're also dealing with something in their in the larger world around them in their neighborhood, this man, the grabber, is been kidnapping young boys from out of this area. And so all of this going on, him being kind of bullied and kind of a little bit outcast, but having kind of like his group that he can connect with. So he has like a friend, he has a sister, etc. He's just trying to make his way when he's suddenly the victim and is grabbed by the grabber, kidnapped by the grabber, this sadistic serial killer who wears these really creepy masks throughout the whole movie, and he has to find a way to now escape and not be one of the statistics of one of these boys that is killed. And in the place where he's being held, this very creepy soundproof basement area, there's a phone, a black phone, which is the title, the namesake of the movie, that keeps ringing. And through these phone calls, the phone, number one, is not connected, but through these phone calls he is experiencing and seeing the other victims, and they're trying to also help him. So that's the basic premise of the movie. Really good little plot. I love it. It's like something a bit different, not wholly unique, obviously. Really, there's not anything unique under the sun at this point, but really interesting little plot that we see here. And what makes this even better is that the characters in this, we have Finley, who's the young boy, we have his sister, whose name is Gwen, and we're really trying, they really build up their relationship at the beginning before we even get into the kidnapped part. There's still all of this heightened tension throughout the movie, but before we even get to that part, we really see this close connection that they have, this brother and sister trying to survive. They also have not a really safe home life, where their dad is pretty abusive, alcoholic, etc. And so we are really rooting for these kids. We want them to be safe. We've kind of got this built up care for them and this emotional weight behind these two characters, which I think the movie does excellent in doing, kind of building up and this really complex emotional connection with the characters. And then suddenly Finley is kidnapped by this really sadistic, very creepily played grabber man, played by Ethan Hawke. Excellent job. We'll get into the acting in a second, but I think that's what the movie does really well, is making you care about the characters and you want him to survive. So that's what we're into. Let's talk about the really great things. I've already mentioned this, but the emotional weight or the emotional buildup that we have throughout the movie is done really well. This plot and story is done in a way, I don't even know how they expanded this short story into such a well thought out movie, but you really, really care about the characters as we're going through the movie. Even some of the characters that don't have as much screen time, you still really care about what happens to them. And we have our nuggets of emotional, gold that are sprinkled throughout the movie that makes you really want to root for the characters that are in danger, or root for the characters that are trying to save people. And even the funny, side characters we get here and there, you can kind of connect with in a sense, or get a few laughs out of. So I think they did really good with a lot of the characters in this. Pretty much all of them, I think, are done really well. I mean, save for maybe one or two, pretty much all of the characters are done really, really well. And we have a really interesting plot here. Again, owing to the source material as well, but I think they really did such a good job. And I've not read the short story or the novella, but I've heard it's great, it's good, and it's always good to see them translate that to film well. So I think this is also like this perfect little summer movie to go see, which I think they released it right at the perfect time, and it's getting very positive reviews, obviously, with the critics and people and moviegoers, etc. Not everybody, of course, is going to like it, but I think this was the perfect time to release it, because it's just one of those things that just really can hype you up. It kind of is very creepy. There's a lot of really cool visuals in this. It's something that'll really stick with you, and I think that's the main thing that I got from this. Even having saw it yesterday, it still is sticking with me. I'm still thinking about it because it just had that impact. Speaking of visuals, one thing that you'll see in the movie is the grabber wears all of these really cool masks done by Tom Savini, which I didn't know until I had to look this up earlier. Love that. I love Tom Savini's work. We've seen him in so many different horror and movies in general. I mean, he did a lot of the I think Friday movies. I know he did the Night of the Living Dead remake, so he's so well known, and I do really love his work. And the masks in this are super creepy. We see Ethan Hawke change his mask throughout the movie, kind of having the grabber wear these different masks showing different parts of his face, and also kind of emulating what he's feeling on the inside using the mask. And speaking of Ethan Hawke, wow, what a performance. Very, very creepy. Even my sisters, like I was saying, they were really creeped out. They were like, this guy is super creepy. I'm getting bad vibes, which is what you want from the actors to be, pushing that out through their performance, right? And my sisters, like, they were even like, I don't know if I can watch this anymore. And I was like, yes, that's what we want. That's the kind of feeling we should be getting, that creeped out feeling, that icky feeling from the horror, right? Because it's supposed to be horrific. The characters are just great in this. Like I said, they make you love the kids and kind of like the relationship that they built up, while also wanting the bad guy to be caught, wanting him to get the justice that he, the kids to get the justice that they deserve, and him to get his like judgment, right? And yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say. I think they did a really, really great job with this one. It definitely creeped me out in several parts, which is, what you're expecting, but not all horror movies do that these days, and this one really did. It definitely had a lot of scary moments, a lot of moments where I was like, whoa. They were really well placed, like jump scares, but not like cheap ones, It was all done really, really well, and I think it was also very emotional throughout his him being kidnapped in this. It really connected. The main young man that did the acting, Mason Thames, really, really great job. I mean, I was almost near tears in some of the situations where he was just feeling so hopeless and sad, and he wanted to get out. And yeah, really, really good. I won't go into too many other details of the movie. I don't want to spoil it, but hopefully you got the gist of what I'm trying to say, that this movie is provoking those type of feelings, provoking this sort of feeling of very creepiness, hopelessness, but also wanting to survive. And I think that's something we can all sort of relate to in a sense, not at this level. Anyways, so yeah, I think this movie did a really great job. I really don't have any complaints. Like, I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's really good. I think you should go see it. Go see it in theaters. It was a great experience, at least when I was there. I would give this one an A minus. This is another A for me, I think. A minus, B plus. A minus. I think A minus. I really, really enjoyed this one. So definitely go out, see this movie, you guys. Go check it out. You will, I don't think you'll be disappointed. At least, I hope not. So yeah, that's going to be it for my thoughts on The Black Phone. What did you guys think about this movie? If you've already seen it, leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. If you've not seen it, go and check it out and come back and leave your comment on this video, letting me know if I'm right or if you disagree. I would definitely like to hear your thoughts. But yeah, I'm going to end the video here, you guys. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. Adios.